learners, and a very hearty welcome to our level 300 students who are reading EDC 242, Trends in Education and School Management in Ghana. I welcome you to today's program that is on radio lecture, and I think this is the maiden one for the semester, where we are going to continue with what we started off with last week. We looked at management and administration, their definitions. Today we are going to look at the functions of school administration. The functions of school administration have been put in the form of an acronym, which we commonly refer to as POSDCORB. So we shall be exploring the framework for effective educational leadership. That's all leaders will have to go with the POSDCORB so that they can have a very effective form of leadership, more especially in our educational setup. Whilst in the lecture halls, we try to look at what is meant by administration, and just to give a brief of it, we said that administration is all about the strategic oversight of educational goals, whilst management is about the day-to-day operations for achieving these goals. And it's very important because it ensures efficient use of resources and alignment with educational objectives. But how do we ensure that we are able to attain our educational goals or educational objectives? Then, of course, we need to identify the functions of the chief executive or the leader of that particular entity. So we have the functions of the chief executive put in the form of an acronym, which I've said it is POSDCORB. P-O-S-D, C with a small o, R and then B, where the P refers to planning, the O is organizing, the S staffing, the D directing, the CO coordinating, the R reporting, and the B budgeting. Actually, when you go to the literature, a lot of educational leaders have identified about 3, 4, 5 functions that they perform, or generally speaking, leaders perform these functions. But the acronym POSDCORB have been put together for us by Luther Golick and Lyndall Orwick for administrative functions. That's irrespective of the various functions that a chief executive may be performing, these 7 functions are key. And we as educational leaders, or educational leaders to be, must be very conversant with these so that wherever we find ourselves as leaders, we will be able to perform accordingly. So we're going to take some time to look at these functions individually. First, we talk about planning. I think each and every one, wherever we find ourselves, whatever we intend doing for a day or something that we plan doing, will require that function of planning, which will involve setting objectives, identifying resources, and designing strategies to achieve whatever outcomes we expect. So we see planning as the process of setting objectives and determining the best course of action to achieve them. And this involves analyzing current circumstances. We look at what is actually existing. And then we forecast future needs and we develop strategies to address them. You may be getting ready for lectures, but you might have planned what you intend doing today, so that whatever objectives you have set for yourself today could be attained accordingly. There are some key components much as planning is concerned. So in our description, where we say that planning involves setting objectives, sure, per the key components of planning, you need to set goals, where you need to establish clear, measurable objectives, attainable objectives for the school or the organization that you are working in, but we are concerned with the school in this situation. So you need to set goals. You also need to identify resources. You determine what is needed to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. As a school leader, you may think of the personnel at your disposal, the materials or the resources, and even the time that you are supposed to operate in order to attain the goals you have set for yourself. Another key thing is to develop action plans. You develop action plans where you have to outline steps to accomplish objectives within a set time frame. You are not going to say that this particular thing which I have to attain within this semester or this term, I'll have to wait. No. You plan to attain the objective set for a particular period. So you develop action plans in order to attain those objectives within a set time frame. All these notwithstanding, we still have to look at what we call risk management. Yes, in anything that you do, you must look at the positive side and look at the negative side also. What could be those things that might pose challenges or may set as challenges to whatever you intend doing? So with risk management, you anticipate potential challenges, and per that, you create contingency plans for that. Yes, you are planning, but some people say that I have plan A and I have plan B. Yes, you look at all these. So the key components we have talked of here is about setting goals, identifying resources, developing action plans, and you think of risk management. In the school situation, we may have examples of these. For instance, if you are a head of a school or a head of a department in that school, you try to formulate an academic calendar and timetable. This is the new semester, this is the new term. What am I required to do? You look at how the calendar is planned and you program yourself within that as you continue to plan. You design a curriculum delivery plan. threats. You need to analyze all these so that you can plan strategically to ensure that your set goals or objectives for the semester or for the term are attained. So briefly, that is about the planning. So we have the O, which is organizing. Organizing is a matter of arranging your resources and whatever tasks that you might have in a structured way, so to achieve the goals set during planning. And this involves defining roles. Who takes up this? Who does A? Who does B? And at what time? You delegate authority and you ensure that you coordinate the efforts of each and everyone playing a role or performing an activity in how you have planned yourself. Some key things to look at will include how you allocate your resources. You have to assign resources. You have the staff, you have your classroom, you have your budgets, and who plays what role. So you allocate these resources to specific tasks that you intend to involve the people so that together they can work towards the achievement or the attainment of your set goals and objectives. More so, you ought to establish what we call hierarchies. You define roles and responsibilities within the organization. So everyone knows where he or she ought to operate. And per that, you coordinate every effort or efforts, as we will put it, every effort of those involved to ensure that different departments or teams work cohesively. They work together. Whatever each and everyone is doing may not be so distinct from what others are doing. So that at the end of the day, when everything is put together, it will work towards the attainment of your goals. So we are seeing organizing as structuring resources and tasks so to attain set objectives or goals. In the school situation, you can assign subjects and classes to teachers. All teachers cannot go to one classroom at a go. So if it is a basic school, you know who goes to, let's say, class 1, class 2, class 3, and what subjects, in case you are doing cooperative teaching, what subjects each and every one will have to come in and at what time. So you organize all these, and you create an organizational chart also to clarify responsibilities. You may go to, let's say, a head teacher's office, and straight ahead of you, you see the organogram of that school or the organizational chart, which tells who is the head, who is the assistant, who is doing this. So everybody and their responsibilities are defined on that chart. So you, as a leader, will have to perform all these roles. And again, you ought to design schedules for extracurricular activities. The usual curricular activities might be planned already, so you only follow it and you assign roles. But in some situations, like where we are having the extracurricular activities, you have to design a schedule if you want everything in your school to go on smoothly and work towards the attainment of your goals. So in all these, you ensure that you assign the roles to teachers and staff. You may also set up committees. For instance, you may have a disciplinary committee, so that if there are any indisciplined activities involving students or even the staff, that committee can take it up. It won't escalate to anywhere. That committee will have to make sure that they settle everything. You may also have what we call the PTA. You can establish or set up a PTA. Or in recent times, they say the T is no more there, so we have the PA. You may have the PA established in your school. And in all these, you try to design, let's say, a timetable and classroom allocation for the school. You are organizing whatever resources you have. So you know who goes to this class. Let's say class 1 should be at this point, class 2 should be here, class 3 should be there. I visited a school, sorry. I visited a school some time ago, and the pieces class, a primary school, the pieces class was just by the entrance. And I asked the head, and he said yes. He didn't want to bring the class 1 or the lower primary section closer to the entrance because they are fond of making noise. And when visitors are coming and they experience this, they may speak bad of the school. So the senior classes should rather be at the section closer to the entrance. That was how he has organized his classes or classrooms to ensure that at all times there is sanity. So you need to organize your resources as a leader for all these to work towards the attainment of your set goals and objectives. So we have talked of the P, we have talked of the O. We now go to the S, that is staffing. Staffing. And yes, we can talk of, I have my staff, I have so and so. Yes, it's all about the personnel working within your school. So we look at staffing, and it involves recruiting, training, and retaining qualified personnel to carry out the work required to meet the organization's goals or to meet the school's goals. You need the men, you need the personnel who can do the job to attain your set goals and objectives. And this also involves managing the personnel in a very effective and efficient manner. Other than that, you may have the men, and yet you may not reach your goal. Some key things to look at, much as staffing is concerned, is recruitment and selection. Who do you attract to your school? Of course, in our basic school system, or even in the secondary schools also, you don't go around looking for teachers or tutors to teach. They are posted to you. But in all, recruitment and selection is in there to attract and hire the best talent. So you need to, those concerned about recruitment and selection of your school will make sure that they accept the applications of people who actually qualify to be in your school before they are posted to you. And when they have come also, you also have a lot to do because you have to identify who that person is, his qualification, and the way that he operates, to know where to put that person. More so, when the person has been posted to your school, you need to give that person some form of training and development. You try to provide opportunities for skill enhancement of that individual. You don't just say that, oh, this is a graduate posted from the office to my school, so he knows how to do everything or she knows how to do everything. You need to help develop their skills and to fine-tune whatever they know how to do so that they can do it better in your school, because you have set up your plans and you know which direction to go so to attain those objectives, and you need to train your staff to be able to perform in the direction stated so that they can meet the goals. So you set your expectations, you monitor the progress of these teachers, I can't say these recruits, these teachers posted to your school or the personnel, and as you monitor them, you try to provide feedback at every time necessary so that they also know the way they are going and how to reach the goal that you have set for yourself or you have set for the school. You are working with human beings, in this case, your staff. So you try to create a conducive environment for them. Remember, you have recruited them, or the office has recruited these workers for you, and they have come to work with you. You have provided some kind of skill training to enhance whatever skills, knowledge, attitudes, ideas, and ideals that they came with. And all these involve costs. Would you go through all these and let them go just after spending some little time with you? That shouldn't be possible. So you need to create a very conducive environment for your personnel so that you can retain them. All because they are now skilled individuals who are going to help you work towards the achievement of your set goals and objectives. In the school situation, we can have a situation where you will have to organize workshops and professional development programs for your staff or for your personnel, either the teaching staff or the auxiliary staff. You need to organize workshops for them. And again, you have to address their welfare issues and motivate them to work as expected. Of course, their salary, you are not the one paying it, but whatever is involved in getting the salary on time, you have to work towards that. And you can also take a look at their workload also. There are some individuals that when you load them so much, even though they can't operate with that tall schedule, they may not say anything, but will always be playing that kind of like a decimal attitude, which will not yield the best of things for the attainment of your goals. So you make sure that you monitor all these. Train your staff to ensure that they work towards the attainment of your goals. You need to lead them. You need to motivate them as individuals or as teams so that they can execute whatever plans that you have set up so that they can achieve, or together they can achieve the school's goals. And that takes us to another function which we refer to as the D in POSDCORB, that is directing. So simply put, directing refers to leading and motivating your personnel individually or as a group to make sure that they execute plans and achieve the school's goals. In most situations, the planning that you do will involve your personnel, so they know what is on the table and how to get there. And you as the leader, you have to ensure that you motivate them to work towards the plans that you have set up. And this will involve communication. Communication is very key when it comes to working with people. You need to supervise them and you need to inspire them also. Give them the necessary inspiration to work for you or to work towards the attainment of the school goals. Some key things that you have to look at is about leadership. You actually need to guide and inspire your personnel, your staff, to align their efforts with organizational objectives. Everybody could be working fine, but are they doing the work in that direction that will enable you attain your goals? You need to engage them. You need to communicate with them. Ensure that clear instructions and open channels of communication are available, because you need to give them feedback from time to time. Yes, you need to ensure that they know whatever is going on, the level that they have been able to reach together, and then you motivate them, give them the requisite feedback, and which way they have to go further to speed up with whatever they are doing so to attain the set goals. Supervision is key in here. Yes, you are leading, you are communicating, and there's also the need to have proper supervision of whatever activity that goes on in the school. You monitor the personnel's performance and you provide the necessary support to them. If a teacher is prepared to teach and in the classroom situation he doesn't have the needed teaching learning resources, what will he do so to move the work forward? You will have to provide the needed support, and these can be made known to you when you are at all times engaging them in communication and monitoring whatever they are doing. And per that, they will also identify your interest in their job or their tasks and tell you whatever challenges they might be facing. Yet in all, as part of your functions as directing, you have to motivate the personnel. You have to encourage your staff and reward them also, so to maintain morale and let's say higher productivity. Yes, higher productivity in the school situation. So directing here indicates that we need to provide leadership and guide activities to achieve the goals of the institution or the goals of the school. An example that we can draw in here, much as directing is concerned, is where as a school head you need to supervise lesson delivery. You are not going to be the office head. Per office head, what I mean is, because you are the head of the school and you have been given a very comfortable office, you just enter the school, you open your office door, you sit in, and that is all. It is when somebody needs something from you that you knock at your door and enter the room for you to attend to the person. That one, if you are a woman, they refer to you as office madam. And if you are a man, you can think of how they'll call you. We expect that as a head, you supervise lesson delivery. And how can you do that? You have to be the walking headmaster or the walking head teacher. Be on the verandas, monitoring and supervising how lessons are delivered in their classrooms. Because you are the superior. you are the much experienced person in the school situation. And of course, as you go around, if some things are not going on as expected, you can prompt the teachers and give them the necessary directions so to work positively. You set expectations for your staff and for your students. And all these will have to work towards the goals or the objectives that you have set. You foster a positive school climate. The climate of the school should be such that it will entice even outsiders to come to the school or would always wish to send their wards to your school. You also have to encourage your teachers. As you monitor them, you are talking with them, you are discussing the extent to which they are delivering whatever they have, you need to encourage them to adopt innovative teaching methods. Innovative teaching methods. Are they stuck to where the teacher is seen as the superior, is seen as the all-knowledgeable person, always giving students the needed information, or he is that teacher who puts the learner at the center and ensure that the learner operates within the teaching learning situation where they are going to learn better. You have to encourage your teachers to adopt innovative teaching methods, teaching techniques, teaching approaches, teaching skills, so that productivity in the school could be high at the end of the day, so you can reach your set goals. So in such situations where you want to have effective directing, you set up regular staff meetings to review progress, and identified concerns are addressed accordingly. So you do all this to ensure that your expectations are attained, your climate or the climate of the school is so unique and superb, and lesson delivery in the school is also done in a way to ensure that students attain at the end of the day. That much for directing. Let's turn our attention to the CO, the uppercase C and small letter O. That is coordinating. We have a lot of people who are engaged in coordinating activities in whichever small organizations that they involve or they find themselves. And what do they do in these organizations? Much as their work is about coordinating. Whatever they do is not different from what the school head is also expected to do. Coordinating here ensures that all activities, teams, and resources work together harmoniously to achieve the organization's goals. And it's all about aligning efforts and ensuring that there is no duplication or conflict of activities within the system. So you are making sure that whosoever is doing something different from the other person, but all working towards a common goal, you ensure that they work together, hand in hand, one linking to the other, so that you'll be able to attain the goals of the school that you have set. Some key things that we should note when we are coordinating will include the fact that we will have to integrate activities. There's a need to integrate activities, and this will ensure that various tasks and functions are aligned. we may have different ideas, different views, but whatever we are doing should all be geared towards a particular direction. There ought to be intersectional or interdepartmental communication, which will help to facilitate collaboration between different teams or different departments. Yes, in the school situation, somebody is teaching English language, another person teaching mathematics, another person biology. Yet, they all have to work towards the attainment of the goals of the school. And all these must be aligned. You have to address conflicts, or because a lot of people are involved, there could be discrepancies in how the work flows, and there's a need to resolve all these. So as you coordinate, you must have that capacity of resolving problems, but you ensure that whatever tasks are involved within the school system, they all work together, they are all aligned, and you make sure that you are able to attain whatever plans that you have to ensure that the goals of the school are attained. In the school situation, we can identify coordinating function working, or that function regarding coordinating being put to work, especially when we align teaching schedules with extracurricular programs. Yes. Classroom work and non-classroom work. How do we align them to ensure that the objectives set for the attainment of the classroom work are not different from that of the extracurricular program, but all working in unison to ensure that the goals of the course or that particular program is attained. You need to make sure that you help your teachers to align their teaching schedules with the extracurricular programs. You coordinate efforts between teachers within the school. Efforts between teachers on one part and parents on the other. And more so, the PA that we are having in recent times instead of PTA. So teachers are on one side and the PA are on the other, but they all have to work together for the good of the student. So how do you coordinate the efforts of these entities? As a leader, you need to know how to go about this. So you have to engage the parents and stakeholders of the school in all school programs. You have to engage them, and you need to ensure that there are some or certain events in the school situation. For instance, you need to organize something like a sports day or games, or let's say you organize yourself in such a way that exams or exam period doesn't clash with some other academic schedules. That as a session of the school is in the classroom performing activities of teaching and learning, another section in that same compound is seriously writing exams. When it turns out that way, things will not augur properly within the school system. So if you are setting a time for exams, you know that all levels are writing their exams. If it's a thing of teaching of the academic subjects, everyone is engaged in that. Yet you need to synchronize the teaching activities with extracurricular activities. There should be that kind of, or that form of synchronization, so that things can work so well. The learner, your personnel, will know how to adjust themselves so well to ensure that all these activities are done to the best interest of the learner, for whose purpose the school has been set up. So there is also the need to manage interdepartmental collaborations. In the school situation, we find instances where someone or a student may say, I belong here, and can say everything good about where he belongs. And the other side of it, the negatives, will go to the other part that he doesn't belong. All because we see the department as separate entities, one being distinct from the other. But you, as the head of the school, in your function of coordinating, you ensure that you try to manage collaborations between and among departments, so that the student or the learner will know that, oh, so we are all the same. We have come here to be educated, and I am towing this line, that person is also towing that line, so that together they can work in a very effective and efficient manner for you to attain your set goals. We have the R, that is reporting. Reporting, when you go to some of the literature, they relate reporting to communication. All because reporting involves providing updates on the progress and performance of tasks or initiatives to relevant stakeholders. So you have to ensure that there is always accountability and transparency within the school system, because you are responsible to some people within the education system. So you provide updates on how things are moving within the school system. You provide updates on the progress and the performance tasks of whosoever is involved in the school situation to all the stakeholders. And who are the stakeholders in here? It is about the students, the teachers, the parents, the community as a whole. So they must know whatever is happening in the school. So as a head, you need to give reports. You need to communicate to the stakeholders. What you do here is that you have to keep records in the school situation. You have to maintain an accurate record of activities and outcomes of the school. You communicate results of the school to the community or the stakeholders. You share information with the stakeholders, more especially the school board, if there's one, the PTA, the parents, and of course, your educational authorities. They must know how you are running the school and how the school is also moving. You submit reports to the school board or the education ministry, and they will actually see the progress of the school. And if there are challenges also, they'll find a way of coming to your aid. You use the reports to identify areas for improvement. Of course, as you report, you are talking of accurate report. So you have your positives, you have your negatives, and you have your threats also. Initially, we said that you have to perform what we call the SWOT analysis. So in reporting, is to also give your strengths, your weaknesses, whatever opportunities and threats that you will be facing. The stakeholders must be aware of all these, and when necessary, come to the aid of the school. So you are sharing students' performance data with their parents. The community is aware of whatever is going on in the school, and whatever report is coming out from the school to the community ensures that the community is in a good relationship with the school, because you are not hiding anything from them. The school knows what is in the community, and the community also knows what is in the school, and per that they will all help in giving a hand to the school to ensure that things work out properly. In reporting, what some heads can do, or as a head, what you can do is that at any time T, of course, you have set your plans and you know when to assess your school and its performance, and then you write your report. So you know the exact time to submit the report to the school board or the Ministry of Education in our case. So you can study or scrutinize whatever activities that are happening in the school for a period, maybe a month or two. You decide what time, and you give that report. But in most cases, when the reporting is frequent, it helps, so that the least issues that don't go well with the running of the school, the stakeholders will be able to identify them and will come to the aid of the school. So you need to prepare your annual performance report also. That is a combination of the various sub reports that you gave within the semester or within the year. You put all together, and they have an annual performance report of the school, and that gives the school a certain standing in the face of the stakeholders. So you submit reports on student performance also. And student performance, the parents should be aware, the PTA, the Education Ministry, of course, should also be aware of it. And you should also at all times give data of the school to the necessary authorities. Parents will also have knowledge about the data, maybe performance data of the school. They should have knowledge about it. And the Education Ministry, through the district education or the municipal education, can also have a view of it, so that they know and can talk about your school as required. So you try to keep your stakeholders informed about the progress and performance of your school by way of performing that function of reporting, which is your work as the chief executive of the school. We go to the last aspect, or the last function, not necessarily the last thing that comes, but by way of the acronym that you are having. We go to the B, where we are saying the B is budgeting. Each and every one of us prepares a budget of a sort. Students have returned from home back to school in Winneba, and the little funds that they brought, the little resources that they brought, they ought to budget so well, so that whatever the resources they are having can take them through maybe the semester. Because if you don't do it that way, you may get stuck somewhere. In administering the school or managing the school, there's a need for budgeting. Talk about budgeting, and it involves allocating resources, especially financial resources, to various tasks. Yes, you have a whole lot of tasks you have planned, and you know that you are going to do activity A, B, or C. And you need financial accompaniment to attain these goals. So you need to allocate financial resources to the various tasks and ensure that expenditures are also aligned with your set goals. So budgeting involves allocating financial resources to various tasks and ensuring expenditures align with the school goals. And this will include planning, monitoring, and controlling finances. This is a function that is very key, because if you don't do it well, you cannot run that school in the most effective and efficient manner. So you need to prepare a good budget. And here you need to estimate costs for planned activities, and you think of how to secure funding. Of course, in our case, here in Ghana, the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service, does that estimation for you. So from time to time, they will call you to the office that something has been deposited in your account for the running of the school. Yes, but you need to plan towards how to expend that amount. There is financial monitoring required here. So you have to track all expenses to ensure they stay within the budget. We need to do a whole lot of things, but you operate within your budget. You try to avoid overspending and finding cost-effective solutions to whatever task that you intend accomplishing. In some situations where we have the PA, formerly the PTA in some schools, or the PTA could raise funds through grants, or maybe we'll just do some contributions towards the accomplishment of certain tasks within the school system. So you have to look at all these directions. You prepare an annual school budget for salaries, for supplies, and maybe for some infrastructure. And you monitor expenditure on academic resources, such as maybe textbooks and some equipment that will be required for work in the school. In most situations, much as budgeting is concerned, some schools are allowed to organize fundraising activities where they can get some little funds to run the school, or they can apply to the Ghana Education Service or the Ministry of Education for grants to supplement some funds that they might have had. So that is about POSDCORB: planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, directing, reporting, and budgeting. And each of these functions is essential for ensuring that schools or organizations function effectively and meet their goals. And when school heads apply these functions successfully, there is the need, or the outcome will be said that resources could be managed so well, staff will be motivated, and at the end of the day, there will be the achievement of high quality results. There is high productivity in the schools, and surely whatever goals the school might have set for itself would be attained at the end of the day. So that is the end of our presentation this morning concerning the functions of the Chief Executive, which we have put in an acronym by help of Lindell and garlic in the form of POSDCORB: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. So every school head must have knowledge about this so that they can run their schools to a very successful point where they can attain their goals and objectives. Thank you very much. We are at the studio, Radio Windy Bay, and the studio line activated is 050-392-3158. You can call, you can send your WhatsApp, or you can send your SMS messages through 050-392-3158. So as we await your calls, right, we have Mr. Daniel Amwako Atta. Is that the road minister? Mr. Amwako Atta is saying he is somehow confused with the planning and organizing. Well, we never mention organization. If we mention organization, we may be referring to the school as an organization or any organized body in that case. But I think he's looking at planning and organizing. He says it looks same. Can please come again? Briefly with the two. Thank you very much. We take one after. Okay. Right. Mr. Amakwata, we are saying that in whatever we do, the initial thing that we have to look at is how to plan, and we have to do the planning and do it so well, because if you plan to fail, or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I think that's saying is there. By way of planning, we are saying that it is an ongoing thing where you set objectives and you determine the best course of action to achieve those objectives. You have to analyze your current circumstances. What is existing? Or which situation do you find yourself? Then, after identifying that, you look at what is ahead, where you have to be, or where you want to be. You are forecasting future needs. They are not current things that are at hand, but the future, where do you want to be? And per that, you develop strategies to address them. So you have set some objectives, and these objectives, you are trying to look at the ways and means of achieving that objective or the set objectives. Fine. We said that you should look at your present situation. These are the things I'm having. These are the things I need. These are the points where, or the level that I want to reach. So per that, you are going to forecast the future needs of that school. And then, now that you are aware, or you have become aware of where you are and where you want to be, the next thing needed is how to get there. How do you attain those goals? And we stated that it is good you set the goals right, and in the school situation you have to formulate some academic calendar or academic timetable. You need to design curriculum and how it can be delivered. you have to develop the school's vision and mission, because you can't elude that. You have to operate within the mission and vision of the school. So for short, talking about planning, there is a need for you to set up your objectives, and you determine the best course of action to attain those objectives. That is the planning. And when it comes to the other part of it, that is organizing. Organizing, here you have your resources, or you have some limited resources. And these resources, how do you put them into their requisite structures so to attain the goals that you want to reach? How do you do that? So you are going to arrange your resources. In the school situation, you have classrooms. Do you put all the students in one classroom because they are students and have come to school to learn? No. You ask, or you identify the various groupings of the students. Those who go to class 1, who are in class 2, class 3, class 4, 5, and 6. Which rooms do you put them? So that one, you have organized these students into the various classes. You have your staff who takes up that responsibility of teaching in class 1, class 2, class 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you try to arrange all these, and you assign roles to these teachers. You delegate authority, and you try to ensure that even though someone is teaching in class 6, someone in class 4, whatever they are doing are coordinated. Whatever they are doing are aligned to each other. And with that, class 1 teacher is not going to say that I am doing all the teaching and whatever. Class 6 teacher is also going to say that I am in class 6 and I do the best of all teaching and the like. No. So you organize yourself in that manner, or you organize the school in that manner. Teachers are there. Which of the teachers will have to take responsibility of the day-to-day activities of the school per week? You have to get weekly monitors or teachers on duty. You must organize all these in that manner so that they perform their roles. There wouldn't be any conflicts of performance or role performance or conflict of tasks. You think of all these to ensure that things go well with the use of the resources at your disposal, so that you are able to attain your set goals and objectives. So, yes, organizing is about assigning resources. Yes. And defining roles and ensuring that different departments or different personnel work cohesively. And thinking about planning. In planning, we are saying that you set your objectives and you determine the best course of action to achieve them, by way of identifying your current circumstance, looking at your future needs, and you developing strategies to address them. That is about the planning. And in organizing, you have looked at ways of arranging your resources and the tasks in a structured manner to help you to achieve the goals you set during the planning stage. Right. I think if there are any further questions when you meet with your lecturers at the lecture halls, you bring up these questions for it to be discussed thoroughly within the classroom or the lecture hall situation. Thank you very much for your audience. Hope we shall meet same time next week. Thank you very much.
University of Education, Winneba, Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Send the BIA the Bremono and Afiason, Afe na Yahuanimus level 100 from Baba Kayensa, Nayanuomo Asian Ade Abom for 2024-2025 academic year. Nisentie, Branamani won't call Namni Komo. What's your name?
Benjamin Boama, French education. Oh, to be honest, I was kind of nervous because I've not been to such a place before, so I was actually nervous. But when I came here, I found out that everything was just as normal as everywhere. So I'm expecting to have not smooth journey to my final year.
But so your friend Udu Mesa Daniel. I'll be free to Abuja myself. Oh, this is my first time I'm a bar. And this is first time so me too coin. Me and Casano me too coin giddy that. See many ajipa, many experience people here work on moon. See way ababe history. This is first time baby am akwesi aye sunran. See we ababe history wa mabra boma. And then the minister ni chise na martin me say the ababe no sunya kopombe adom na yakota ye yakwa kodu e wasu.
I'm Isaac Ayu from Nkari, straight away from Kumasi. Actually, it was a quite interesting journey, but we have already met some people in the bars, and it's very interesting. We are here to actually build up our academic performance, learn how to interact with people, and get a lot of exposure from here. Then we go out, find something to do to help Mother Ghana.
Yeah, from me, Maredi Jenfi. Me from Nkari in the Ashanti region. Me ba me niaje. You was Sempa Hall, you was Goose Hall, like entrance. So the omode che video no, it's the same.
First of all, the affiliates coming who are affiliated to Sempa Hall, they should understand that Sempa Hall is not just a hall. It's one of the biggest and greatest hall in the University of Education, Winneba. So we are called custodians and we stand for greatness. So as they are coming, they should see themselves as unique. They should work hard, and in case there is not something they find difficult, they should try and consult the executives, and we are here to assist them. Thank you.
Okay, so all I would say is that as they come, they should participate in hall activities, focus more on their education, and also involve themselves in campus activities that will help build their holistic life.
Hello, my name is Amina Abisbanan, a media personality at Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Kindly follow us on all our social media handles. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on www.uew.edu.gh. We are the ultimate in campus radio.
Fellow Ghanaians, my name is Osman Mumini, Head of Multimedia of Radio Windy Bay. Keep listening to Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM, the ultimate in campus radio.
Hello there, this is Haruna Aaron Adam, a student presenter at Radio Windy Bay, and I'm with the multimedia team. You can follow us on all social media handles. Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM, the ultimate in campus radio.
Swalanye me, mi banya de umanye. Achomi, Amina Abisbanan, Michwoni, ye Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Ye find and ye follow our Radio Windy Bay, ye Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, ke TikTok. Radio Windy Bay, your ultimate in campus radio.